Hi YouTube, it's Mitz. Today I'm here to talk about some of my favorite pens that I use on a regular basis. I've split them into category. These are the multicolored pens and or pencils. Actually, this one would be part of it too, that I like to use. And then these are the markers. This would be considered a marker as well. But I wanted to break this up into one group as because these are from Daiso, which is I guess cheaper than the rest, so I wanted to kind of give it its own category. So let's start with the Daiso brand pens and pencils. This one here is, I really like it because it is double-sided. It has like a thick tip and a thin tip, and I like to use this for when I'm writing on washi tape and it doesn't smudge or let me show you an example. Like for example here I wrote on, I don't know if you can see, I wrote on the washi tape here the documented life project week and the theme for the week, and I used this marker here with a thin tip, and I like it because it doesn't smudge or anything like that, and it's permanent. I believe they use this pen, it's called Namae pen, it means name pen, and they use this types of markers especially for kids, when you have like a backpack or shoes or something and you have to write the kids' names inside, they use this type of marker or pen. So I do enjoy using this often. This one I have mentioned, I believe, in some other videos as well. It's a multicolor pen, so there is a black and a red and a pencil, so it has two pens and one mechanical pencil, which is awesome. And several people have, in the beginning I was like shaking it around because I didn't know how to use it and several people have taught me how to use it, so I thank you so much for those people that have showed me how to use it. So if I want to use the black side, I would put the black, I guess, marker in the top, and then the black pen would come up. And then if I want the pencil, I have this side sign come up, and then you see the pencil. And if I want the red, I just make sure that the red marker is on top, and then the red will come up. So awesome! And this is from Daiso, which is, I think, is a really, really great deal. I sometimes like to use ballpoint pens, and I don't know why, but sometimes I feel like it, and that's when I reach for this one. And then this last one I got from Daiso recently, it's actually a fountain pen. And I don't know too much about fountain pens. I'm still quite new to the whole fountain pen craze. I know there's a lot, more expensive ones, but I thought I'd try it first before, investing in a good fountain pen. It came with like an ink cartridge, and you can purchase more ink cartridges at Daiso. I think they come in a pack of 3s, and I don't know if I can show you the ink. So it comes like that. Writing wise, sometimes when I'm writing down or up, the ink might not come out properly, so you have to write slowly. But it is quite smooth, and I'm really happy with this Daiso fountain pen. It's totally worth the money just to try out how I like the feel of fountain pens. So that's Daiso. Next are these two markers. I love friction. I just can't get enough of it. I love it because it's erasable, and when I'm in my planner and I make a mistake, which happens often. So let me show you, like for example, like if I make a mistake and I want to erase it, then I can just erase it. I don't have to, waste a page flag or waste a page or put whiteout on top of it or anything like that. So I love these friction markers. I just really wish that they came in a slightly smaller tip. I don't know what tip this is, but this is the thickness of it. I wish it came in a slightly finer tip, and I would be extremely happy, but I love these friction markers. Also, one of my favorite are the LaPens, and I've mentioned this before, but I can't find them in Japan. And it says Japan on it, so I don't know. Perhaps I'm not going to the right stationery stores. I'm sure if I look harder I can find them, but I like using this black one. It's so smooth and it writes nicely on any kind of surface, and I try not to use it too much because I don't want to run out, but I love the Le Pen. It fits really nicely and it's just so smooth, so I like this is one of my favorites. And then come the multicolored, MultiBarrel, I guess, pens. Out of these, I use them all the time out of, I don't know, like for different purposes. This one I use quite often because it's friction. The ink inside is friction. They're interchangeable as well. The only thing that's not interchangeable are these outside color markers. So this black one is actually a purple right now, it's inside. But I do like the fact that the refills are interchangeable. I don't know, I just really enjoy having, you know, several colors of the friction in one handy pen. And I love the fact that this is like a clasp, instead of one of these ones. I feel like sometimes it feels like it's gonna break, so I do like this pen a lot. And then there is the Colette, the very famous Colette pen. This one is a 3-barreled, and it has the clover, I don't know what they're called, the clover designs on the tips. Usually they just come with like these kind of tips. Maybe I'll show you what it looks like. So the top kind of, the flap opens up. The flap opens up and then you can easily take it out. So you can change the colors anytime you want, and that's the convenient part of it. And with all these multicolor pens or multi-barrel pens, they come in different tips. The one I have in here I believe is 0.4, and I will mention sometimes they become kind of scratchy. Scratchy as in the ink doesn't flow as nicely as, let's say, one of these pens or a ballpoint pen. But I use this Colette often for the black ink, and I like this for my Zen doodling, like this for example here, because it offers a really like vivid black, and it's like a thick, I don't know how to kind of describe it. It's just a really vibrant black, and the ink is just so dark, and I like how the ink flows when I'm doing these Zen doodling. I don't know, it feels really nice compared to like a ballpoint pen. I don't think I would want to Zen doodle with the ballpoint pen. Like, it would become harder to, especially these darker areas, it would be harder to fill in the spots with a ballpoint pen. It's not really a marker, it's still a pen, but it just feels like it's like a hybrid in my opinion. So I do like to use the Colette for Zen tangling or Zen doodling. So I use this a lot in my Midori Traveler's Notebook. And then the last one here, it is a Unijet stream, and it has this one in particular has 4 colors. It has black, blue, green, and red. The refills are interchangeable. However, they don't have a lot of colors like you could purchase for the Colette and for the friction multi-barrels. The reason why I like this so much is because it has like good weight to it. It's very stable, and also it has a mechanical pencil. But it has some weight to it, so it doesn't feel like too flimsy. And when I'm writing, especially in the Traveler's Notebook, if I'm writing like a journal entry, I don't have to push too hard. The ink flows really nicely. I use this a lot in my Traveler's Notebook for journaling. I don't use friction ink in my journal because I want my journal entries to be permanent. Does that make sense? Is that weird? I know that with the friction inks that there is a possibility of it fading in the heat. I haven't experienced it myself, but I've heard that if it's in the heat it kind of fades away. So when I'm journaling, I want my journal entries to stay, obviously. I want to reflect back a little later on in life. I want to be able to look back and see what I wrote. So when I'm journaling, I use this pen often. It has a good, I don't know, it's just so stable and has a really good weight to it, and it just flows really nicely. I rarely use like the green or blue or red. I can't believe this because I haven't really purchased any refills for the other pens. Well, I have for the Colette, but I've already ran out of the black ink from this pen, and I've already repurchased some refills, and it just goes to show you how much I really enjoy using this pen to journal. Sometimes I might use it to write something in my Filofax in the planner, but usually in my planner I like to use friction pen, just because, like I said, I can erase if I make a mistake or if the appointments change, or I like to be able to erase and then rewrite it again. So in here I tend to use a lot of my friction type of pens and markers, and yeah, and in my traveler's notebook I like to use these two. Sometimes for some journal entries I will use the Daiso fountain pen. Let me try and find if I can find an entry where I used this one. So I did use it in here. As you can see, it's a little, I don't want to, yeah, as you can see, it is a little thicker. It does flow nicely on, maybe it's the paper that's so smooth, but it is nice. It's just, compared to the other one, it is a little bit more on the flimsy side. But I do enjoy using this Daiso one as well in the traveler's notebook. And there's no, well, I can't really tell here. There's a little bit of shadowing, or I think it's called ghosting, where you can see a little bit of the shadowing on the back, but it's really not that bad. I think the paper in the traveler's notebook is a lot thicker than the Filofax paper. And if you want to see a flip through of the traveler's notebook, I've already done one on my other channel, My Life Myths, and I will link it below if you want to check that out. Yeah, so those are my favorite pens and or markers. If you have one that you like and that you highly recommend, let me know. It's just in Asia here, there's just so many different types of pens and pencils. It's kind of actually overwhelming for me. I know it sounds kind of crazy that I'm saying that. I know for some people this is like stationery heaven in Asia, but it's just, it can get a little out of hand, and I think sometimes we just have to appreciate what we have, and you know, it's not necessary to have to go out and get the newest pen or anything like that. All of these are totally fine and has their own purpose, and I love all of them. So yeah, but if you do have one that you know, highly recommend, please let me know. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my video. As I mentioned before in my previous videos, I will be a little MIA, missing in action, for several months, just to be on the safe side. For some of you who might not know, I'm giving birth next month, so I might not be here, but I'm trying to film a lot of videos in advance so that I can kind of scatter the schedules, schedule them out and kind of scatter them so they do come out once in a while. But thank you for your patience, and thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.